Hi, today we're going to talk about Tren Maya and how it affects the environment. The Tren Maya, one of the flagship investment projects of the current federal administration, with support of ONU Habitat, this project doesn't have the approval of various social sectors, including indigenous communities that will be directly affected, because they have not been informed in detail about the environmental impacts it will bring. However, in the midst of a pandemic, the federal government has requested through presidential guidelines and decrees by COVID-19 to keep this project active as well as activities of displacement of inhabitants and production of steel, cement, and glass related to it, for at least a dozen civil organizations and affected communities. It is worrying that in the face of the worldwide health emergency, the federal government intends to maintain activities related to the project called Tramalia, since its construct and evitation of people is essential in the context of current pandemics. Will be the environmental damage. The federal agency in charge of the Tren projects have declared that there will be no environmental damage, since it will be built on railroads already built. However, they refuse to carry out technical studies and inform society with more details and data on this point. According to the technical report made by Chamber of Deputies in September 2019 of the Tren there is no just information to establish a degree of environmental damage, but according to the analysis, the effects that this project could present would be loss of vegetation to the clearing and stripping, and the loss of soil productivity due, among other things, to the computation carried by the transit of machinery during the construction and the vibration produced by the transit of trains. According to the technical data sheet, hydrology could also suffer damage at both surface and underground levels, and change the natural current of the water. There is a risk of contamination of both surface and underground courses due to the substance discharge like accident or by poor treatment of waste, and loss and or fermentation of habits, which are not always solved with biological corridors. The works and operation of the train can produce alterations in the behavior of the fauna of the area, risk of fire both during the construction infrastructure and during the transit of trains. There is a way for communities to be directly informed about this type of project, which is which is the indigenous consultation, which is a recurrent human right for the people name. However, this participatory process took place between November 15 and December 15 of 2018. Did not adhere to the minimum timeline established by the international regulations, 19 established by ILO Convention 169 of Indigenous and Tribal Peoples regarding the section of indigenous consultations was even questioned by the Office in Mexico of the United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights, who found that international standards on the may have not been met. Some actions to the Tren Maya can be constructed in related to human rights. It will be the National Human Rights Commission (CNDH) considers that the Tren Maya project should be oriented to national and international standards in the field of human rights of indigenous peoples and communities in accordance with Convention 169 of the International Organization of the Labour (ILO). In its Article 6, in administration of the legislative measure that affects possibility or negatively indigenous communities and people not being consulted. If we talk about of inclusion, Paulo Carrera Córdoba pointed out for the project to be truly inclusive, the only way to achieve is for environment to get to train environment working on the same time and doing a project that for years everyone will feel super proud. Action for attention for social responsibility. Through hard diversity and multiple science, approximately 1,406 kilometers of writing will be included in Yucatan Peninsula by interconnect the states of Tabasco, Campeche, Chiapas, Yucatan, and Quintana Roo. And the route takes advantage of existing right of the top Topacnec is the railway feed between Palenque and Valladolid, promoting outwards in taking advantage of the rights of the wide various existing infrastructures which arose, motorways and transmission lines, among others. And actions attention to social responsibility will be a lot of this. For example, foreign land use change in municipal land use, ecological planning of the territory, create natural areas, encourage species, and similar. These are some of the of things that the Tren Maya must be respected, and it is a 100% beneficial project, removing the economic damage that we will be doing. To conclude, is that the Mayan train should restructure its form signs it will be possible to build as planned. It will be affected by the economic environment and culturally scientific, all in the medium is involved with the people of the towns that doesn't don't receive the necessary information for it. Therefore, it will be a disaster and people will be super dissatisfied and will cause more displeasure towards the government than there already is.